Hi, what's up, y'all? It's poppin'. It's D. About to react to this vid by T Spells titled Ruby Frank Pleads Guilty. She's going to prison. Damn, as she should. But yeah, it's so wild that she was a YouTube mom and now she going to jail. Anyway, let's see what they gotta say. Let's watch.
For the past nearly 4 months, we've been waiting to find out what was going to happen to Ruby Franke and Jody Hildebrandt and if justice was actually going to be served. For a while there, a lot of people assumed she may get out on bail pending a trial date, but as the months went on, that day never came. We quickly learned that Ruby and Jody were going to be in jail for a lot longer than they probably ever even expected. It was assumed that Ruby would use her connections to find a way to get out and avoid taking true responsibility. Well, after the update that we just received, it sounds like we may actually see some real justice. Ruby Franke appeared in court yesterday, and just as expected, she ended up pleading guilty to multiple different charges. We knew this was going to happen because of the statement that her lawyer released. The statement indicated that Ruby would be entering into a plea deal with the court, and she shifted a lot of the blame onto Jody. They painted the picture that Ruby was someone who came across the wrong person with bad intentions and led her down a path that resulted in what happened. So we had an idea of what was going to go on during this hearing. Ruby's family was in attendance for the hearing, including her brother, her sister, and her parents who returned from a mission.
It was quiet, mainly just media and family were there. Franke's family entered and left court together. They did not comment before or after the hearing.
Now, in Ruby's statement made through her attorney, they did say that she was reaching out to various members of her family, making heartfelt apologies, hoping to mend their relationship. I said in my last video that I would have a really hard time believing Ruby's sisters would want anything to do with her right now. I mean, Ruby's sisters made it clear in their statements how they felt about both Ruby and Jody.
As things have unfolded now, we can see that this is something that Jody has done, is she gets in people's lives and she plants these ideas or accusations against people. So for how distraught I was and for how debilitating it made us when Ruby cut us off, the things that she was accusing all of us of were just abhorrent. All care so deeply about each other's feelings and we worry how each other is doing. It's been really nice to be able to do this together. It feels very intense to talk about and to relive and to say.
But it was being reported that Ruby and her sister exchanged smiles during the court hearing yesterday.
Ruby Franke's mother mouthed the words "I love you" to her as she was leaving the courtroom this afternoon. Here's a picture of her family arriving at the courthouse today. This is her brother Beau, and in behind her sister Julie and her mother and her father. I'm now going to play the video of her family's reaction when she turned to say goodbye to them leaving the courtroom. You can see Julie give her a big smile and her mother mouth the words "I love you."
When she entered the courtroom, Ruby actually looked towards her family and smiled at them. The judge then read out the charges and Ruby entered into a guilty plea.
Ms. Franke, how do you plead to count 1, aggravated, a second-degree felony?
Guilty.
To count 3, aggravated, a
They're gonna
second-degree
be your ass in
felony?
jail. Cause they don't play about child
To count 5, aggravated, a second-degree felony?
stuff.
Guilty.
And to count 6, aggravated, a second-degree felony?
With my deepest regret and sorrow for my family and my children. Guilty.
There were originally 6 charges brought against Ruby, but it sounds like the courts agreed to drop 2 out of the 6 charges in exchange for her pleading guilty to the other 4 charges and a whole other list of stipulations, which include prison time. KUTV got their hands on the actual plea deal, and this is what it has to say about the deal Ruby struck with the state. They make it clear that Ruby may have to serve the maximum time for each crime. They also made it clear that there could be fines and how they would like her to serve her time. These are the details of her agreement. 1. The defendant agrees to plead guilty to count 1, count 3, count 5, and count 6 of which is a second-degree felony. 2. The state agrees to dismiss count 2 and count 4. 3. The defendant shall submit to a pre-sentence investigation with adult probation and parole. 4. The defendant agrees to serve a prison term. 5. The sentence received for count 1, count 3, count 5, and count 6 are to be served consecutive to each other. 6. The defendant agrees to testify truthfully against Jody Hildebrandt. And in return, the Washington County Attorney's Office agrees to remain neutral regarding future hearings before the Utah Board of Pardons and Parole. So it definitely sounds like Ruby will for sure be facing some prison time. I think the maximum sentence for each charge was 15 years, so there is the potential for her to get 15 years on each charge. Now, do I think that will actually happen? Probably not. I'm sure with her taking this plea deal, they'll probably end up giving her a less harsh sentence, even though I think the maximum is exactly what she deserves, especially after hearing exactly what Ruby has pleaded guilty to. In the plea deal, it goes into really heavy detail about what Ruby has admitted to doing to her 2 kids, and it's far worse than I ever even imagined. I think a lot of us had an idea in our heads of what may have been going on and what those details would look like, but I didn't even come close to expecting what I just read. I'm gonna leave a link to the article for you guys from KUTV that talks about exactly what she pleaded guilty to, but just a warning, it's a really hard read. All I can say is I don't know how anyone could read what she did and go on to not give her the maximum sentence. She probably knew that no judge or a jury would read what she did and give her anything less than the maximum. So that's probably why she agreed to their plea deal and agreed to testify against Jody. Judging by how things seem right now, it almost feels like Jody may be the one that they really want to go after here. We already had that statement from Ruby where she said Jody was pretty much the one who introduced her to this lifestyle and led her down a bad path. We've heard stories from so many people who've come out to say that they experienced the same thing during their time with Jody.
That's a lifestyle.
Them from their families, trying to ruin their marriages, making them think that they were bad and did horrible things and were evil. I could definitely see them wanting to build a strong case against Jody and try to see her be put away much longer than Ruby. Jody's next court hearing is set for December 27th, and so far, there's been no word from her attorney about what she plans to do or what her response is to what Ruby said. As for Ruby, her sentencing will take place on February 20th, so we're gonna have to wait until then to find out how much time she's going to get, but a lot of people online are saying anything less than 15 years for each count wouldn't be justice. Anyways, guys.
But yeah, I hope she does get some serious time. She didn't even post the goddamn link. Oh, she did. Okay, I'm gonna go read it, but I guess she don't want to post it or talk about it in the video. Maybe it's too heinous. I don't know, but I'm gonna go check it out. You guys can check it out. The link will be down below to this video, and then y'all can look in her comments because that's where she put it. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think about this though. Let me know what other videos you want to watch, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks.